up, everybody? This is Dregs One. Welcome back to another episode of History Debate Podcast here at Empire Studios. Trevor Potter behind the lens, and today we got the return. If you didn't see the first episode, go check that out. We got more to talk about. We got new music. We got tours. We got freestyles. We got all types of things popping off with the legendary Casual.
What's up with it, man?
What up? I
can't get the smile off my face because we started with the freestyle. And I told you before, man, I used to do that when I was a kid. I still do it, but you got me to do it. I appreciate that.
Man, I appreciate that you kept it real because you came in and I was like, you feel like rapping? I thought she was gonna be on some hell yeah, I rap all the time, and you were like, man, I don't know. Let me see if I got it. You kept it real, you know what I mean?
Well, you know, I told him like this. These are skills that we hone for our whole life. But as I got more mature, I started to see where they fit in best. If I need to make a presentation and I got some bars, I've been sitting down, making sure they excellent. When it's time to make my presentation, I don't really need to prove that I'm the best at thinking of things spontaneously. You know what I'm saying? I just use that skill to, like, if I mess up on stage or if I run out of rhymes, then I can keep going.
Right. Well, let me ask you this, man. Like, how do you get when you're writing? Are you writing bars just in case you got a freestyle, or are they from songs?
Yeah, that's a good question. And so I've been talking to some of my conglomerate lately. Like, we need to start back doing that. Writing rhymes that aren't for songs,
right? And
that they don't have a spot. So somebody say, "I heard him said that on this." You busting at the radio, but they heard that verse somewhere.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I've been championing the fact that, we just need to write to be rappers more often, not just writing because you got an assignment or some homework. And so if you hear me busting in some of my latest viral freestyles, some of those will be 200 bars, you know what I'm saying? And some of that time I might say, okay, this is just dedicated for that show. And some of them I might just be saying hella different rhymes I got at once. Like, you might not know that I'm connecting this verse with that verse
for sure.
seamlessly.
For
like
sure,
that.
You can kind of glue them together.
Going.
Yeah. It might be a good exercise to just throw on like a mixtape beat or a old school instrumental or something, just to have a session, just to get a good 16 or a 32 in.
Yeah.
Just to have it in your back pocket.
Another thing, to see if you could connect some of your 16s, because rappers don't know 16 ain't enough no more. Yeah. If you in that cypher, you got to be hitting them with 32s, 48s, since they're going to be like, he ain't said enough.
16 is like a soft 45 seconds.
That's for a song.
Yeah. Well, that was fun, man. Make sure y'all check out the bonus content, man. We got a cipher popping off. I suspect the real reason why it's good to have you back is because the new album is out.
Yes, sir. Black Magic.
Man.
It really was Black Magic, too. I mean, not like that.
I was curious. I had some questions.
Yeah, and I released it on Friday the 13th just to make them be more curious. But I don't do none of that. And the fact is, it's just about black excellence. Really, what I'm talking about is y'all thought I'm over with. You think it's over. You think I'm too old. You don't think I'm going to sound fresh. Bow, black don't crack. With the lyrics, too. You see what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, they call it black excellence in one regard, but I'm just like, just keep this real. If I could bring this from this, catch it off the backboard and make y'all say, dang, he bopped that at 40. I'm not 40, I'm 50. You feel me?
50
so they be like, that's really Black Magic, because he's spitting like better than he was doing when he was young.
You sent me the advanced copy. I actually listened to it. I know a lot of people be like, oh yeah, I'll check it out now. When people send me stuff, I listen.
I appreciate that.
And I was like pretty instantly like, damn, like this is hard. Like,
I appreciate
the bars was hard, the beats was hard. I thought you were saying Black Magic, you were referring to some of the AI stuff you've been pulling out.
Well, not necessarily. That would give you something. I'm trying to see the correlation because of that Black Mirror, maybe.
Yeah,
How does Black Magic correlate with AI? But I don't know, because a lot of the stuff I was even talking about, even when I talk about simulated reality theory and that, people always tell me, you need to watch this Black Mirror series, and I really never truly haven't seen it. And so I might have caught one with my wife or something, but I wouldn't be able to really explain what you see in the correlation.
I thought you were just kind of referring to like the general like kind of sentiments around AI right now, that is, people are basically concerned that it's going to turn into some shit that's going to take over our whole reality.
I'm glad you pulled that out of that because
You said that you were like, it's some real black magic. So I was like, oh, are you talking about the AI shit? Because it's just like you kind of, with the AI stuff, you make damn near something out, not something out of nothing, but that's how it kind of comes across.
So I don't know. I haven't stepped too deep into that world now. Right now is strange because I'm actually trying to implement AI protocol to help my company, to help us run more efficiently, to have AI agents that could bridge the gap between me and my other board members. But artistically, here's the thing. I don't know what's up with the AI. It's like some negative sentiment about it out there, and I've been trying to go deep as far as visuals is concerned, to like get my visual game up so that I have some good creative content. And there's been a lot of negative feedback. Then you see what happened with Timbaland. And so I never was really encouraged I haven't been encouraged yet to look too much into like the AI music stuff.
I thought I was wondering about some of the beats.
Yeah, no.
No AI beats.
Hell no.
No AI, so this is the game that I got recently, is that they're cracking down on samples so hard right now with AI. So using AI to identify the samples. So people been telling me, bro, just go make the sample with
DJ
AI.
DJ Teray is the one. I'm gonna tell you this story for Ray. Shout out to Ray. As soon as I started making that album about December 19th, which was my birthday. You see what I'm saying? Because we was choosing the end of the Hiero record, and I didn't get too much production on the record. So I'm like, Cass ain't messing with my beats. I'm about to do a casual album and show that I got slapped. But in the process of it, I had to go So I used Machine and Contact. You know about the Contact Suite.
What's the Contact? Remind me.
That's the magic. The Contact Suite is just a suite, sound suite with all kind of what we call them, the patches or programs, whatever we call, all kind of different sounds in it. I was running my Machine on my computer without the Contact Suite because it was taking up so much memory. When I didn't get no beat selection on the new Hiero album, I was like, is everything I'm sending Cat sounding whack? So I upgraded my game and said, I'm gonna rap over all my own stuff and put out that record. But with the fire under me that Cats ain't picking your beats, so make sure these beats sound better.
Yeah, they were knocking. Okay, so that's what I was thinking. I'm like, you got AI visuals, because I saw you kind of being open online to the conversation and using AI. So and then people had just started telling me about like the AI sample hack. So I'm like, oh, is that what he's doing? But you just were chopping loops and shit.
Now, not hella chopping loops. A lot of shit is played. So you gotta see some of these things we got. Like one of my favorite patches in Machine is called George Duke. I don't want people to go use my stuff. It don't matter. It don't matter. It's not mine. George Duke, it's like you can get the original musician to play. This technology is crazy. So you can he plays his runs, and you can just press different keys and put these runs into your music. So you could get all kind of you can ask whether that's AI or not. But
it's not actually him that played it. Just sounds like
samples of him that they got chopped up so well in the system. Anybody who uses a Machine might know what I'm talking about. And maybe that. What do you use?
I use Reason.
They might have. All right. So they got little. I don't know what these things are called. They're called expansion packs. And I got one called Alicia Keys, George Duke. Do you deal with expansion packs?
Yeah, but not the type that you're talking about.
Yeah, sometimes you can open up an expansion pack and they will have that artist, all that music, all his riffs and stuff chopped up to where you can manipulate the riffs. And you don't need to know how to play because you're going to press this key and George Duke going to do it for a minute. You see what I'm saying?
That's dope.
And that's about the closest.
Okay, so I knew I heard something because I'm like, I don't think this came off like a vinyl record.
Nah, none of those are samples at all.
Because I don't know if you heard that too, like what I was saying, that it's getting really hot for sampling right now, in terms of like people coming after their royalties and shit like that. But you
gotta go look at my production history though, because I was trying to like do that when Cats wasn't even not even cool to dudes. And my sophomore album, they kind of was like ishing on it because I do it that a little bit too much. Had what they was calling keyboard beats.
Right. I think we talked about that a little bit last time. Yeah.
And so, this is just a natural progression of it. But let's just say that there's so much stuff to help you now. Yeah. You don't even have to be trying to. Well, I'm not. mad at anyone using the AI. If it's stealing other people's music and then just duplicating it, that ain't cool.
So
but there's a lot of stuff you can use.
I'm curious to hear what you and the viewers think about this. So when people told me like, bro, you can't use these samples, it's all bad. Just go on the program, type in the type of Italian 70s synthesizer movie soundtrack, and it will just make something that sounds like that, and then you can flip that.
Well, the latest thing, I'm not to be promoting any of those things, but DJ Teray, when he heard my album, he was like, dude, you got to start using Suno.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking
exactly.
about. Yeah, I didn't want to promote them either.
Sorry about that. and then another person said another one that starts with a sample, like sample AI or something like that. And I think that was Aguilar telling me that, yo, why dig in the crates and they can steal your rights when you could just say, yo, I need something jazzy low and then sample that.
Yeah.
But I ain't got that far. I mean, but I don't think there's one sample on that record. You know what I'm saying?
Dope.
Like I ain't.
It sounds like it could be, but
sampled.
yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't produce everything on it. So yeah, it might be some samples on stuff I didn't produce, but I produced 11 of the tracks and it wasn't no sample.
Well, you're big on the. You've been posting some crazy AI visuals, which are pretty hilarious. And you said you got some backlash about using it. What are your thoughts on just AI and music, vision? I know some graphic designers that are like panicking. Some people are worried about AI.
Well, you know what? I've been rapping so good that somebody came on my post was like, dang, is he using AI for his bars?
Damn.
And I'm just like, man, this shit it's getting out of hand.
Yeah.
It's getting to the point almost like the pyramids where they rather think the aliens did it just before they just say some black people.
Right.
Like we do got natural intelligence that inspires artificial intelligence. And some people still excel just at being great at what they do without no help. It would suffice to say that if AI could make your bars as good as mine, then everybody would be rapping as good as me. Yeah. Right? For real. Everybody would be killing shit.
Yeah.
But everybody ain't killing shit. And so there's something that that there's but I think one day we're gonna grow to the point where everybody gonna be using it. And it's gonna be a mainstay in art for all over, and no one will be really tripping.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it will ever be able to fully replicate human creativity and human emotions and soul. Basically, like that's what you're connecting with through the music is somebody's expressing their soul. Hopefully, right? I don't think it'll ever get that far, and I do think like what you're saying is people are already kind of using it. It's just a tool. It's like an asset. It's like, should you really just animate, spend all the manpower and the hours to animate like a comet blowing up the earth, or could you just type in the prompt?
Well, see, it's a lot of hatred in that too, because think about it. When we turn on the TV and we don't care if it's computer-generated graphic, we don't care if Star Wars use AI or not. Because it's coming down and we looking up at the production, you know what I'm saying? We feel it's okay. But since it's democratizing, you could do it. Oh, you could make a big-ass building blow up in your video without spending on, oh, man, I really like that because you're using AI. It don't make no sense. I got some people who didn't use AI who produced some horrible graphic green screen videos.
Right.
And I'm like, so in my creative head, I'm like, it's about the end result. I thought it was about the art piece we're trying to produce, not necessarily the paintbrushes we using or whatever.
Right, it's a tool. It's like a paintbrush.
And so for me, I'm pro AI when it comes to the visuals. I possibly want somebody walk me slowly into the world of AI music because I got so scared watching the Timberland shit.
Yeah. I mean, that took it a little too far because I don't want to see a whole AI movie. I don't want to listen to a whole AI song. I want to listen and watch people.
But you don't want to see an AI movie if you know it's AI. But if Voorhees just come out and do something ill, you're not even going to question that. Yeah. But a human can't do that.
Yeah, but it's I think in theory I'm like that's kind of where it gets scary to me because
the Fast and the Furious,
all AI Fast and Furious.
You know what I'm saying? Just what we watch every day when we watch it right now. A lot of that we know is computers help them produce what we're seeing, but we don't have no emotion about it.
Yeah, I just mean like a AI script, AI actors, AI soundtrack. The whole thing was produced by a computer.
I think they're starting to do that too, and they're trying to see how far they could take.
There's AI podcasts where you're just listening to a computer talk to you in different voices. See? That's what I'm saying. It gets a little freaky. That gets a little Black Mirror-ish at that point.
Yeah. Oh, so that would have been cool. I mean, honestly, I'm gonna take some of your definition of my album, and for when people on that, I'll be like, nah, it's like the Black Mirror, like you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know how I made this.
Run with that. All right, everybody, make sure you join the Patreon because we got the exclusive freestyle cipher with me and Casual that you can only hear bonus content from my patrons. Make sure you sign up now. Maybe I'll do this whole series and turn it into a whole freestyle rap cipher thing, but for now, you gotta join the Patreon. And shout out to all of y'all that have been supporting so far and logged in. I gotta give a special shout out to my Tycoon patrons, Skylar Woods, Jose Lopez, Connor Hill, and Jessica Gilroy, and everybody else that's been signing up. Thank y'all. The link is in the description, so make sure you tap in so you can check out this exclusive freestyle cipher with me and Kaz. An interesting track on there was you had a DJ Daryl beat with Thurston Howell III. You're on your low life shit.
All right, so this is what I'm saying. I don't know because they harder than me. They dedicated low life. So I'll be like, I might not be no low life, but we've been loving low since day. We the West Coast low. I don't want to say started it, but Kanye West told y'all that on his MTV special. He wasn't shooting out no low lives. He said, when I was coming up, who I seen rocking the rugbies was the Souls of Mischief. That's what he said. And so, again, shout out to my lowlights. That's why I had to get Thurston on there because I was like that, but I really don't have, and it ain't no disrespect, but I ain't dedicated to no fashion in no regard. You know what I'm saying? The only fashion I'm dedicated to is the Hiero brand. But I rock low, I fucks with low, so if I want to look clean, I only go to Ralph Lauren. It's just like that, but I'm not like mascot.
So what's the origins of that for you?
I'm gonna tell you, when we got our first checks, I'm talking about that. I got signed for $250,000. I got signed for $206,000, and then $50,000 for some other deal I did. Bruh, I couldn't get no money, so we had the label cut us checks, and all they would give us was $700. We went to school. I was in 12th grade. I got my $700 check and was juiced. Guess the first place we went to, Ralph Lauren in the Menlo Park, the one that was out there by Stanford, because we thought we was balling. Like, let's go to the one in Stanford. Park. We got $700 each. We went out there and got in there. It was like, bro, you can only get a shirt. Like, you can only get one thing. And so, really, I went to Skyline High School. And just like I came in here like this, that was that preppy town look. You know what I'm saying? And we used to love really showing people that this just the clothes. It still will get crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Right. That's where it came from. I went to the line and some of the toughest, cleanest dudes was actually preppy. They wasn't looking dirty and bummy. You know what I'm saying? So that stuck with me. You feel me?
That's dope. Yeah, that's the East Coast low life shit. That's a different level. That's when it's like, from what I understand, it's tied into like boosting.
That's another thing. The booster culture, it was big out here, but it wasn't particularly brand based.
Right.
Our boosters could come get whatever I got some Gap. Right. I got some, but they would be like, we hitting low.
We going straight for the low. Yeah.
And that's why but now they did a lot for Ralph Lauren. They made him a cultural icon. He wouldn't, if it wasn't for the low life, it'd still be something clean, but it wouldn't be like a cultural staple in hip hop, which drives their sales to this day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I thought that was dope that you made that connection on, and you got Thurston Howell III on a mob beat.
Hey, that's what I tried to do. You see how clean he sound on that mob beat?
Good.
I said, Thirst, you might want some more. Yeah. Mob beats because you sound like a young town dude on this track. You feel me? For real. Right. Shout out to Thirst and all my low lives. But I ain't as dedicated as y'all. I just got pieces, you know what I'm saying?
Well, speaking of the East Coast, you just got back from tour.
Oh, man, that tour was wonderful.
How was it? It was dope?
It was a real short tour promoting Hiero new record we got coming right now, to be titled, but the tour was called 360 Tour. And it was good for me because just like we talking about, fashion and some of these things, that was what was on my mind while I was on the road. So I got to go to some of the best low collectors in the world that just happened to be down the street from my show in hella cities. I went to Montreal, and if you go online, you'll see F as in Frank got one of the $1 million polo collection. I'm up in there with Frank getting pieces that you can't even get. So now I came back to the town. I think I stepped my low game up too on that tour. Also, I was rocking the shows. That's be like homework. The fun part was when I got to Brooklyn and could go to Unique Styles or whatever and see all this stuff and bring back little pieces from. So it's like that with any tour if you think about it. Even if you go out National Lampoon's Vacation, you still getting little souvenirs at every gas stop and stuff. It was just low from every city, you feel me?
So you said you guys, I know y'all are working on a new album. You went on tour to kind of promote that it's coming, or?
Yeah, definitely that.
Interesting.
But you know why? Because we want to be able to get the money pre, during, and post.
That's smart.
So you're going to get out there and say, yo, we got a record coming. Remember us? And some people going to come to that. Then you got the tour. Yo, the record's out. You know what I'm saying? And then after that, you're going to try to see how you can stay on the road in whatever regard. Like, yo, this is our third single, our last run for this record or whatever. So definitely to just wake up some fans and let them know.
That makes sense for a group like y'all that has that cult following.
Yeah, man. You'd be surprised too. Not to be beating a dead horse, but dude, at this tour, hella low lights was coming out, and people were saying to me on the stage like, why everybody in the crowd got on low. I was like, it's because it's that song they support and they see as a movement, and that was hella cool too. You know,
that's a good look.
It was crazy. I was like, damn.
So the new out? You guys don't have a title yet?
No, I don't want to announce like we do, but we've been toiling over titles. But trust me, man, this is some of the fire. I mean, I wish you could come through, maybe hear some someday. But A+ and Domino with the production. So this is the thing. When we came out, it seemed like we was a little bit ahead of people, right? And then over time, everybody learned those styles and they catch up. We're never going to give you a first impression again, so you're never going to feel like when you first heard Hiero. But my gauge is, do it still sound like we that far ahead of cats when we first came out? And it do. So I was like, good. When cats hear this, they're going to be similarly blown away. But you can look at my resurgence. Why is cats looking at me like they didn't know I was it? Like they thought, y'all really thought I wasn't the dude? So now y'all just looking at my page in 2026, vouching by that? Oh, he's spitting. Oh, what happened? I've been doing this. I just didn't have no followers because you didn't think I was doing this. So that's a conundrum, you know what I'm saying? Like you do something for so long that people don't think you do. Then when they find out you're doing it, they act like you just started doing it. I did not just started gassing this year.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta put down a demo. People got short attention spans these days.
Forget, you know what I'm saying?
Do you have any untold Hiero stories?
Are you serious? Yes, we got. I mean, but you gonna have to ask what category you asking. You feel we got all them 30 years of hip hop, B.
What is a crazy story, a crazy Hiero story where y'all getting into some shit, either
getting into stuff
on the road or in the town, or?
I mean, I'm the champion of this story, so you know I'm gonna tell it. Feel me? I remember when the security was trying to put hands on the whole tour in New Mexico. I'm town bound though, so I'm looking, and I ain't even gonna mention the other groups, but we was with some other group. If it was instantly Hiero, it would just set off. But we on the tour, and we in different caravans. We just showing up at the show. I'm standing over here, and these some pretty big artists. All I see is ours doing the wave like somebody got them in a full Nelson. Oh no, yes, full Nelson. Take the artist, running them out the club. threw an artist out the front door of a club that they just performed on.
Damn.
These was like some, there was like some of them racist security, basically. They just was like, we gonna mess up the stars of the show. So I'm sitting back like, dang, I'm one of the sizable people on the entourage. I know everybody gonna look to me first, but I'm like, hold on, it ain't even got to us. Let me see what they partners do. They partners just was like, what? One of their littlest homies ran up on dude, and when he got to the dude, his head was in the dude who threw his homie up chest, but he was Mighty Mousing, and that's when my heart said, okay, dude got hard to fight, but he can't fuck. Now it's your turn. Bruh, I got a good one off, though. Dude, I slept the security guard in New Mexico, no lie, bruh. Slept him I'm talking about honk shoe, like, he was on the floor, like, and they was slapping him. And so I'm like, okay, they trying to wake him up. Like, now you thought you was beating everybody. He came too, and my town instincts kicked in, bro, because I'm kind of tall. So when he came, I was like, you about to get this shit beat out of you, because hella security, they starting to do the convergence. Man, I put this on everything. I did the town. I got down to about 3 feet. And I'm duck walking up out the club like this, and this Mexican, I ain't gonna never forget. This Mexican dude we was in New Mexico. This Mexican dude was like, I got you home. And he was like, let me keep down. And he was like helping me get to the door. Well, we got to the door, bro. I popped up and looked back. The security was whooping the whole club on the rebound of dude getting knocked out. And dude's like, man, they pepper sprayed us and everything. I was like, man, I knew that I had to sneak up out of there after that. And to end that story, shout out to Mexican dude. He walked with me halfway back to my hotel. Then my spidey senses kicked in like, this could be one of their partners trying to make sure you really get whooped. Right. So now me and him kind of like, I'm like, all right, you came far enough, homie. Like, I ain't going to let you see which hotel. He was like, no, you good? That was a weird story. You asked, and so I had to get you one.
Hey, that must have been a good feeling, because the worst is when a security guard does too much.
No, I got knocked out by security before, too, so I used to be like that, you feel me?
Oh, you were causing problems?
I used to be drinking. I used to drink.
Okay. Yeah. Do y'all ever clash as a group? Because there's so many people in the collective.
Yeah, we definitely do. We're grown men and we all got different wheels and we want different things. You grow to want different things out of your career. But we got ways of mediating that. We got ways of keeping it cool. We got assets. And that's an advantage we got over a lot of groups who could just fall apart. And then, well, what about the mortgage? You know what I'm saying? We be, oh, yeah, that's right. We got something that ties us back together. And the growth of those assets and looking forward to giving them to our kids collectively also will keep you together. It's not like it's just about rapping. So if you think about it, Hieroglyphics as a group only put out 2 records in 30 years. But that ain't enough to bond 10 men together for that long length of time. Everybody else who put out that, they don't even know each other. Some of these groups don't even know each other no more. Go find a group put out something 10 years ago and ain't did nothing else. They probably don't even call each other no more. And so we accumulate assets together for the reason of, obviously, to get the money out of it, but also, too, it's like a physical piece of thread that bonds you together. If you own a building together, you might see the homies in it one day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's why I asked, because, you look at so many groups, whether it's like the Rolling Stones or Wu-Tang, and, it's like, you start off as kids, teenagers together, and then the next thing you know, you're 20, 30, 40, 50. It's like people change, people grow apart. Even just non-rap music friendships go through so many stages. But when you have creative decisions to make, you have business decisions to make, it can be challenging to
It's always a challenge.
Together.
It's always a challenge. And we've had different people sitting at the head to leading us on, and, we just work it out however we can.
Who do you think has the best pen in Hiero?
Oh, that's a good question. It's kind of crazy for me to say that. So, always looked up to Dale, the way I'm talking about in honing my own skills. I always looked up to some of the thought that came out of Dale's mind right now, back then. Now, as we grow and mature as artists, sometimes even our lyrical focus will switch, and we find different ways of pulling out what we want the artist to see. And so back when he was focused on like making sure people knew he was one of the illest, he definitely had one of the most wicked pens. Even he was always like the leader of the direction we should go lyrically. But if you want to go down Black Man Street, like, all right, it's kind of rowdy in here, you might want to select me. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying it depends what party you in. If you at a frat party, you might want to select some other people from Hiero. But if it's melanated and they pushing, give me the mic. You know, and that's how that works. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I'm not mad if you say yourself for that answer.
I mean, you know, I would be, it would, because if it's true, then that'd really be crazy, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm saying.
I had a little bit of a conversation with this offline with Domino.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to get your take on it. Do you feel like Hieroglyphics gets enough recognition in the Bay Area rap scene today?
Oh, hell no. Hell no. Motherfuckers be making songs in the Bay mentioning every Johnny JoJo rapper they ever known and won't say nobody from Hiero. None of them get to perform at my festive event, remember that. They could just sit there and not remember what we did, and I'm not going to remember you when it's time for the big party.
Oh, so you did take it a little personally?
Oh, hell yeah. I said that out of my mouth. How the hell you going to be doing the history of the Bay song mentioning everybody? It was a time when it wasn't even nothing popping but Hiero. I'm talking about, you could say, okay, well, it didn't stick, it didn't do nothing, but we from Oakland, right? And our music getting respected around the world make Oakland look good. It don't do nothing bad, so I look at them songs. If you made one of them bass songs, just I could gas you whenever you step off the wrong shit. If we in the house, I'd be like, you made one of them songs, give me the mic.
Well, I noticed there's a lot of lists that pop up like at least once, twice a year, right? The top groups from the Bay Area.
That ain't what I'm talking about, though.
You talking about other rappers?
You don't have to be nobody's favorite. I'm talking about you doing songs chronicling the history of what went down and who all been significant in the Bay, and you leave out Hiero. That should be taken as disrespect.
What do you think it is? Why do you think there's a disconnect like that?
Because some people really didn't know. I don't think, you feel what I'm saying? I don't think, I am mature to know that my emotions are only mine. I got the right to feel this way, but I ain't got the right to judge the other person by that. You see what I'm saying? Some dudes didn't listen to that type of shit, period. Right. My partners that we'll be riding with, but they like, don't this. Because we only got so much time while we riding, and you want a type of music that bring out of a particular emotion. I understand that. That don't mean that our accomplishments was not significant.
I mean, you must have known that at the time, right? Like, and we've talked about a little bit, I think, on the last episode, like the Bay Area is like super mobby, especially 92, 93, 94. And y'all are coming with boom bap shit. So, but I'm talking to some of y'all, like I know the thinking is like, well, we like this type of shit, so that's what we're gonna make.
Exactly, me too. I felt beyond just making regional Oakland music. Look at the skill I actually have and look at what I've grown into. What if I would have just kept myself in a little ass town capsule trying to just only make songs that people from block to block like, you know what I'm saying? I just felt that's not my path. But here's the thing. I always was like, dude, I grew up on 82nd, so I know it's other people in the town just like me who want to hear some real hip-hop and don't just want to hear stuff about shooting.
Oakland is like a hip-hop ass city on the low, bruh.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like dreadlock having
for real
African, Pan-African.
We ain't on the forefront too much. We tried. I mean, you know, it is what it is. Don't get it twisted. I think it's all one thing. My favorite rapper from the town is Shady Nate, right? I be telling cats like, yo, it ain't. What I hear in him technically, I don't care what beat you on. People define rappers by the beat they own and shit. Oh, you mob because the beat is mob. But I'm hearing something in you that you have to be some type of a lyricist because the way you putting these rhymes together is crazy.
Well, I think a lot of the rappers respect all sides of hip hop.
That's true. That's true.
The fans or the average town cats,
they go with what they want.
They just go with whatever sounds good in
that's cool.
in the headphones or the trunk.
But don't let my sentiment, the way I felt, be what Hiero felt. Everybody different.
No, we're
I'm like,
I'm gonna ask some more of these guys this question because it's interesting. I mean, for me personally, when I see like the list, like I said, like the best groups in the Bay Area, and it's just like, dude, like what? How are y'all gonna?
But like I said again, those aren't the ones that offend me the most because everybody could cook.
It offends me. I'm offended for you.
I'm glad, bro.
I'm offended but some of those same groups will be there's like no Digital Underground on there.
Yeah.
It's just like,
but what about the ones where they don't even list it and leave you off? I'm like, dang, you just left me off. You wasn't even saying who was the best. You just didn't even remember. But now y'all can do that forever. It's no big deal. I'm doing some things to wake cats up too because I also got a responsibility, and that's why probably you noticed some stuff on this. I mastered my new album for the car. I never did. None of my albums are mastered for the car. This album, I was going back out to the Tesla sound system every time to make sure the bass was knocking right too, because that's something that defines what people in the Bay like to hear. If your woofer ain't moving, they got 415s.
Yeah.
So if you ain't making they 15s move, you don't got slapped.
Yeah, even in like boom bap sample beats, I like some knock. I like a nice heavy 808 every now and then, some low bass tones and shit. You mentioned Shady Nate. I was actually gonna ask you, do you have a top 5? I was gonna say Bay Area first.
All right. Well, what's up? Let me do
top 5 Bay Area rappers.
Now, let me just give a disclaimer. A lot of the time when people say they top 5, I don't know what they be. They be thinking about record sales or who got the most popularity.
Your favorite, not
I'm doing straight my favorite.
Casuals top 5.
They got to know that a lot of it is based a lot on the way that they put together their lyrics and not necessarily how big they got.
Yeah.
Okay,
I would prefer that. I would prefer the lyrical. Who do you respect as a lyricist?
Even still, with that disclaimer being said, Shout would probably be number 1 because of how much he did.
Impact.
Yeah, how much he did for me as a lyricist, I'm saying. Like half of my think I'm from the town swag is stuff Short already put down. And then that's the only one who's gonna get it like that because then I would have to go to, like I said, I would go straight to Shady Nate for second. If I had to, like, if I was in New York and they like, we don't know nobody from y'all who be spitting, I'd let him hear Short, let him hear Shady Nate. I can't say me, but I would let them hear somebody close to me, like Irk, Kevin Allen them. You feel me? I like him a lot. And then if I had to pick 2 more, I don't want to leave nobody. I love all y'all straight up, everybody contributing, but man, straight you doing the Bay or Oakland? The Bay? Then I say 40.
You've only said Oakland so far, so
yeah, but it'd be like that though.
Yeah, I know.
But then I say 40.
I've asked people this list and they only say their city. So
and then I will say 40 just because I used to. It was points in my life where I was only on 40 and wasn't on nobody else. And the last one I'm gonna say is a non-lyricist, and that ain't no disrespect. Larry June. That's my nephew.
That's your top 5 all time.
No, I mean I'm not saying. You just asked me on the spot.
I said top 5.
So that's who can pop up right now.
People ask me my top 5. It changes every single time.
Yeah, because if I had a list of the rappers, I'd be thinking about who I'm leaving out right now.
No, that's dope. Shout out to Larry, though.
Yeah.
What do you like? What do you enjoy about his music? Because he's also the youngest person on your list, too.
I like him because I seen what he did, and he's a good example for young black men in Oakland to pattern your life after. He didn't have to be like, I don't need to be the most witty, whimsical on the mic. I'm going to have slap. I got a good story to tell, and my whole image is positive. So, again, when we was talking about what people choose to say who the best, the impact you have on other black men is also part of it to me.
I like that. Yeah. I like that. I think that's important. On that note, too, like I was curious about your thoughts about, like, the newer generation of hip hop, especially here in the Bay. One question that a lot of people kind of grapple with is lyricism becoming a lost art form?
Nah, but it becomes less useful in commercial music.
You said useful?
Yeah, useful in commercial. Now, when we say commercial music, it goes back to the word commerce.
Right.
Commerce is about selling stuff. So you might think that your stuff ain't commercial, but if your own goal is just to get this paper and to make this money, your stuff is 100% commercial. And so we start to lose things when art meets commerce. Something got to give. And a lot of the times, for the artists who aren't champions of artistry, it's the art that always gives to commerce. What I mean is, if everybody getting money doing it like this, then often people change their art to do it how the people who getting money is doing it. I don't know.
How do you feel about that personally, though? Like some of the stuff that comes on your radar and some of the stuff you hear and come across?
I've opened up. I had my bitter days. You know, I'm older now, so I grew out of my bitter hip-hop days where you, like, don't like nothing that's coming because you didn't succeed the way you wanted to. So now everything else you hear, you don't like it. And then you have to realize that's affecting you in that way. After I got out of that stage, I started over-liking stuff. One thing I don't like is the OGs that be trying to like the young stuff so they want to seem like an OG. These are your anti-leaders. They're probably the dudes you should really be staying the most away from. The ones who be like, that's knocking, just to not seem like they're 50. You know what I'm saying? Or just to not seem like an old hater. But their opinion, their real opinion might be like, I might need some work, but they're just going to be like, ooh, that slap. Just trying to seem like they, I hate them more than I hate
what you're talking
an
about.
old hater. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly
I hate
what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'll be like, oh, so you follow the youth, basically.
Yeah, Zay Bang has an album called Old Heads Want to Be Like Us.
Exactly.
Yeah. But do you think, this is something I grapple with, because I've been through similar stages the way you're describing. There was a time where I was like, let me just listen to everything. And okay, this not for me, but the youngsters, I like it. And then some of that shit came up on my playlist. Like shit I was listening to in like 2018 came up on my playlist, and I was like, this is fucking terrible.
Like, how was I
was tripping. I shouldn't even give it a chance. And then every now and then I do hear some shit that's like not my style or preference, but I'm like, it's still dope. But then this is the conclusion I came to recently, is that there is some shit that's objectively whack. And the fact that it's commercially successful, like you said, doesn't make it dope.
Thank you.
And just because a lot of people like it, a lot of people like stupid shit.
But we don't see, the thing about liking songs is not, liking songs and dopeness is two different things. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I like hella songs that ain't dope. Remember that Girl Tuesday or whatever. I'm not gonna say I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? I'll be hey with my wife and stuff, but it ain't dope.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so people be confusing the two. They think stuff they like is dope.
Well, I mean, do you think, again, like trying to not to sound like the bitter older dudes, but is hip hop kind of on a downturn overall? Because, I mean, it's definitely not, there's just certain shit out there that's just not hitting.
Yeah, well, you know what, I don't think that should be considered hip-hop. Like, for instance, this new democratized music, because everything's been democratized, right? Meaning that first you used to have to be industrious. You have to be in the industry. Now you don't have to be in an industry. You just get on. The industry's been broken. And so, but this didn't only happen with our music. So that's what I'm saying. It happened across the board. I shoot professional videos now. It was a point where no one would have considered me for a professional video shoot because it was industrious. You had to go get someone who was in the industry. And so if all of these things are going to wind up being democratized to an extent, there's going to be a lessening of quality throughout all industries in America. You know what I'm saying? And ultimately, I'm like, okay, well, if the low bar is getting placed lower, how will that affect me? If I'm up here with my standards and now, y'all accepting shit that's weaker, that don't push my standard down any lower. Actually, it make me shine out a little bit more than now that there's so much garbage out.
That's a great way to put it, and I think like that's definitely not like just the old hating shit, because you actually gave like a reason for it, and it's a reason I heard other people say is like, now that you don't have gatekeepers, which is a good thing, you do lose some aspect of quality control.
Definitely, you see all kind of people, but how do you want to look at that? Because we can look at that as an opportunity for people who ain't had no other way to do nothing.
Right.
So I'm like, man, we got to just let somebody else be the judge. Maybe somebody got a horrible ass song, but they just straight had like straight roaches in their cereal. You know what I'm saying? So are you to say that they made that song and then fix their situation? Is your judgment of the song the ultimate thing? I don't think it is. Ultimately, they fixed their life situation with a piece of art. And now that mean I'm getting too old, huh? Because don't nobody judge stuff like that.
Nah, I think about that sometimes, because it's like, I'm just glad that, I'm glad for anybody, especially like you said, a black man that has opportunities because of their art.
Yeah.
Even if I hate the shit they make, or I don't hate it, but I can't fuck with it. Even if it's like, and it's kind of weird too, because I've been watching some like drill rappers and shit too, and it's like, damn, like, you're not really, the whole like, I'm getting out the hood type of thing doesn't really apply when all your music is about like, you know what I'm saying, like actual drama in your hood.
I don't even know if they want to get out the root. I thought they just was trying to see who could die before 25 the quickest.
Yeah.
Like for real. I'd be like, that, I never seen it lead to nothing. You always got to get out of that type of, it's like voodoo or some type of spell casting, dog. If you're talking about death and murder all the time, you're going to be surrounded by it, and you're trying to see who could die the earliest and the quickest.
And then I get a little deep, and I'm like, damn, well, that's just how fucked up shit is right now after.
It ain't, though.
You don't think so?
Nah. I mean, we be making things worse by the way we try to be like Grand Theft Auto, dog. The whole world ain't going through these plights. Like, put it this way, only in the black community is it going to be like Trim Boom's Grand Theft. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, it was just a picnic. Nah, don't get it twisted that I'm saying. We find these mass shootings and events all throughout America. But those are anomalies. That's not a part of the culture. But there's a part of our culture that somebody might get shot at the party. The party where you're supposed to be able to have a good time.
Yeah, like that just happened in Oakland.
Hey, that's what I'm
teacher got
saying.
killed.
And so I'm like, okay, that don't gotta happen. We act like, but that don't gotta happen, dog. I'll be all over the world. Dude, I've been in Brazil in the favelas where everybody in the party had an AK.
Mm-hmm.
Out. Dancing. No one was going to get hurt. Think about the difference, though. I was like, dang. They neutralized the power that black man, and you got your strap, you more powerful than most of the people that you walking down the street when you see. I hope people don't see this video and be like, dang, he was saying some crazy stuff.
Nah, I know what you're
I'm
saying.
just speaking from the shoulders of who I've been. I've been in the hood knowing I had a strap on me like, yeah, I got one up on everybody who sitting in here talking. Let somebody say something crazy to me. That don't have to be either. You know, but that's part of our culture. I know I ain't the only one.
So now you open me up to something I wasn't even thinking about asking before, but now I'm going to ask it. Do you believe, you remember that letter that went around? This is how we're going to get hip hop to use the private prisons. Do you think there is a conscious, concentrated effort to promote violent music to black youth to increase the actual violence in the black community?
Yes. We start out talking about things that get more sensitive, and I don't know how real you keep it. I start having to name out people groups and stuff. You feel what I'm saying? And people who own certain enterprises and just what their ambitions are and how they view you religiously. And exploit you. I mean, come on, we've been told this by Farrakhan when cats wouldn't believe in it. Now you see somebody like Candace Owens telling you the same thing, and you're like, how did that come so far to where what Farrakhan was saying about certain exploitation, how one people group might exploit another people group, and the ones being exploited is us. I'm not even going to have to pinpoint who the other people group is, but we know it happens systematically. Now, I can think like an evil, devious genius and I would do that. I would. I'll make sure y'all never could get to be able to mess with me. I want y'all fighting each other and in squalor. But I'm not a devious, evil genius with any type of power. But I'm not so holy that I can't think that, yeah, if I had some big-ass position, I would probably be doing this. That don't justify it. That mean I would be wicked and evil trying to keep my power. You get to some height and you be like, okay, man, I'm never losing this. Yeah. I don't care what I got to do.
That was actually in the book, Behold a Pale Horse, he said that. If you had all this control, why would you possibly allow anybody else to even come close? You read that book? Hell yeah, I read that book.
You must be from the old school.
Man, look, original Frisco original, man.
I read that at Skyline and I want to know something else. I've seen with my eyes something he said in that book that confirmed that everything he was saying was true. Remember we was talking about UFOs going into the water? Right, I told you about this before.
Mm-hmm. We touched on it. We skimmed the surface.
We wasn't even talking about Bill Cooper, and I remember I referenced that thing because that's what made me say, oh, that book got something to it. He was in the Navy, and he said when he was in the Navy, he used to see stuff going in and out the water, ships and stuff. 1998, I'm in Hawaii sitting on the coastline, bruh. I got to see what he was talking about with my own eyes, and you would never even believe it, bruh.
Hey man, go read for yourself. That's all. That's as far as we can go in public on public broadcast, man. Going back to hip hop, one thing I wanted to ask you about last time that I think I forgot. There's a clip where Biggie's freestyling over your beat. I didn't mean to. Did we talk about this last time?
I don't know. We talked about it, but
if we did, we're gonna talk about it again.
Cut it up again. Yeah.
Did you ever meet him or did he ever reach out?
Nah, man, I'm hella mad because people told me he liked me hella much. The person who introduced Biggie to Puffy name is Matty C. Any chat bot will tell you that. But Matty C came to Oakland in 1992, and I remember they had a rental. I was hella young. They had a rental, and we was on the corner of 82nd and MacArthur. And he looked up, with the 8 Deuce store right there, he looked over and was like, bruh, Biggie will pull up in Brooklyn just like we just pulled up, but he'll roll down the window and look at everybody on the corner and say, what y'all know about this? And be playing casual. Matty C told me that story. He was like, he used to love you. And so I was like, dang. Imagining, now, I don't want people to go too deep into my thought process, but you gonna imagine what your career probably would have been if you would have met somebody who got that big, who liked you that much.
Right.
So I've been like, dang, if I could have just even met Big up here, let's do one. Yeah. That probably would have turned into, let's do it. So I always regret some of the people that I didn't get to meet.
I can see that. I mean, because he was sliding over that instrumental on that radio freestyle.
Yeah. I used to, back then before, I used to kind of be thinking, when we inspire a lot of people, and sometimes when you're young, you don't look at it like that. Right now, I get inspired. I listen to rappers just to inspire me to rap better than them. So I'll be like, oh, let me see what they doing. Let me see what Griselda doing. And I'll be like, oh, these fools is gassing. You better go do some homework. You feel what I'm saying? And so, shit.
So you thought, you're like, hold on a second. You were listening to some Biggie back in the day. You're like, did he take some?
I mean, I don't want to just be saying that posthumously like that, but I always was, put it this way. The artists who are still alive from back then have finally given it up and said that they was completely inspired by Hieroglyphics. We got everybody from, shout out to them.
So I was going to get to this. In 2013, you released a song called Rap God. And that's still your Instagram name to this day. Mm-hmm. And that was something you described as kind of like a friendly jab at Eminem.
But here it goes. See, because in 2011, I did an album called my series is called He Think He. So I got He Think He Raw, You know how you be like, he think he raw, or he think he's, now then I had he think he's still raw. And at the end of my series in 2011, before anybody was saying that, I did an album called He Think He Rap God, right? And I know that type of a statement is not completely original. Bass God was out before then, and that's what inspired me. I'm like, Bass God? I really didn't understand Bass God. Shout out to my man. And I was like, you know, I'm Rap God. Why is you Bass God? Like, you feel me? And that's what got me juiced. I started putting that on Twitter about 2010. Eminem dropped his about 2013, 2014 or something.
So his song was also called Rap God, right?
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
And you were like, hold on, bro. I just put out a project with that.
Now, the thing was, I love Eminem. I had no beef with him, but I'm a traditional MC. I'm not, I got fans too. So basically, my fans need to see me react the way they think I'm supposed to react. If this is my moniker, you don't just let nobody take your shit. You feel me? In the whole hip hop, if there was a Schoolie D and another Schoolie D came out, it was about to be beef.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, come on now.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm still traditional with it. If you calling yourself something, I'm calling myself. My fans need to hear what I think about that. You know
I remember it generated some press. It turned out being a pretty good look because it also like gave you like a opportunity to like flex your skills, and then it kind of opened up the conversation about like, okay, yeah, we all know Eminem, but like hieroglyphics.
But you know what? It was such an uphill battle. It was David and Goliath, and I was like, I know I'm about to get pummeled by all these fans. Like, it's just gonna look so bad on social media. And dude, it didn't. Like, I was like, how is this? It was like you seeing the little force like fighting back and killing millions. Even in the blogs, I was like, Cass was like, these is just M-bots. Everybody knows, like, you know, this is a cool, formidable hip-hop thing going on. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so the result of that being cats around me wasn't even, you know, bruh, it's just like, bruh, it'd be just like when you about to have a fight and you young.
Yeah.
And then they like, okay, it happened at 3, and then,
well,
the homie, you know, you be like, hold up. Like, this is what it is? Oh, it's just going to be, okay, cool, let's get it up. But or sometimes you be about to fight, all your partners be there like, we about to whoop these motherfuckers, and you be feeling hella good, like, cool, we gonna beat the brakes off these fools, because everybody. Right. So I was like, oh, cats think I might not even about to win this one? Oh, well then watch this. Or not win this one, but I don't want to say win this one. Ain't no wins. But I'm saying that would be like.
You held your own.
Thinking that it's going to be a bad move for you.
Yeah. Well, in 2022, Eminem got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and he did a really dope. I fuck with Eminem for the record too. He's dope as fuck.
Yeah, he is.
And he gave a really tight speech where he basically made a long ass alphabetical list of artists he called his teachers in hip hop, and he named Souls of Mischief, Del the Funky Homo Sapien, and Casual of Hieroglyphics. So, kind of full circle. Like at the time that you made that Rap God song, you might not have realized like, oh, you're actually one of this dude's influences.
Well, I'm not gonna say I thought I was one of his influences, but we also gotta remember we got long ass careers. When Eminem was trying to get signed, we was in Detroit rocking a show, and he came to us right when we was leaving off the van, bro. And this little white dude walk up to the van like, nothing. I just want to give you guys this tape, for real. Gave us the tape. Him and Plea was talking for a minute, but at that point he was not Eminem. He was just this little white dude from Detroit. Bro, we got in the van and started listening to that tape, and we was like, that dude was like a superhero. We was like, the white dude from Detroit raps like a superhero. For real, Plea was like, that dude we was talking to is somebody. So I know Em remember that too, because I was someone at that moment. He was nobody, so he got to remember that. I mean, no disrespect. I'm saying
he just wasn't on.
Now
yet.
I'm nobody and he's someone. You see, so let's look at the opposite of that. You see what I'm saying?
Wow. Well, there was also that interview where Andre 3000 said him and Eminem were on the phone, basically reciting y'all lyrics.
So you know how they got like the Emmys, the Tonys, and we don't really have these organizations in hip hop who give out these awards, but that's my Grammy. That's my Emmy or my Tony having a video where Andre 3000 is saying we helped inspire them.
And I think wasn't he saying it to Rick Rubin too? Wasn't that who he was
said
talking
it once to Rick Rubin, then it's this other really popular guy. He also reiterated it. And on that time he said, people don't say Casual's name enough.
Right.
If I ever meet you, dog, we should have been kicking it.
Right.
Like, I don't understand hip hop. Why ain't Hiero and Outkast? We ain't never even kicked it.
I mean, hey man, it's not too late.
Definitely ain't too late.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta show up and show out, man.
Man,
I would love to see. I'm just gonna put this in the universe. I would love to see an Eminem Hiero song, Andre 3000 Outkast Hiero song.
I would have too much anxiety.
Yeah, you might be right. Yeah, a little anxiety. Why not ask you to rap this morning, man? So Eminem come in here, it might be a whole other ball game.
I'll be like, all right, let me see what I'm gonna say.
I mean, he has to write. He has to spend an insane amount of time on his verses, right?
Nah.
You don't think so?
It's like magic. Some of your dope, like my dopest stuff, pop up in my head as a whole bar sometimes. You know how? Have you ever heard of Nikola Tesla?
Yeah, of course.
His ideas would come to him like that too. Like he would not just be thinking of how to put this part together. He just see the whole. Dude, sometimes a whole line pop in my head with the metaphor and the rhymes, and I'll be like, something gave that to you because you didn't spend any time putting it together. And there's a level you can get to where it just come to you. I think he definitely at that level.
Interesting.
So he might spend that much time editing though.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Editing,
writing and rewriting and structuring, because he just looks like he takes that shit very seriously. Last time you were here, we ended the segment with some Egyptology talk. I wanted to double back on that.
Bro, that's my life.
Yeah, it's the shit.
So I got a study group right now called Magi Archers, and a lot of the brothers focus on actually learning how to read the Medu Neter, or what we call the hieroglyphs. If we say hieroglyphs, we just saying sacred writings in Greek. And so I'll be using some of that stuff as my little black magic, because I started Hiero Day, but people didn't know that was a sacred day. And people didn't, that's what it means, sacred day. Mm-hmm. And people didn't know why it was never no fights. They'd be like, man, it's the only, and not to get off the subject.
No, we can talk about that.
But I took the Medu Neter, so what I knew, and then we hieroglyphs. Medu Neter just simply is the ancient Egyptian writings.
Mm-hmm.
And so, instead of reading Zacharias stitching and having all these ancient books tell me what it said on the walls, I was like, I need to go straight to the source. Because it was African, it was black, and I felt like I would be able to understand it better anyway. You know what I'm saying?
I wanted to ask a couple interesting historical questions.
What's up?
Did Napoleon knock the nose off the Sphinx?
Nah, he didn't. He didn't. That's a rumor. I think it was mainly given to Black America by Farrakhan at the Million Man March. We didn't know much about that.
Really?
He said that at the Million Man March. But one other thing he said was for us to use the information superhighway while it's out, and we can verify that claim. And there was a Muslim who already had cited that they was. You could just look in history is photographs that predate Napoleon with the nose already off. So I think they traced that back to about the 1600s in the area where there was a particular Muslim leader who thought it was pagan. See, you got to also realize,
because Islam, you can't show pictographs of actual people and stuff, right? Is that what it was?
I'm not sure. I don't really study Islam like that, but he thought.
Or are you saying it's just not?
He thought it was pagan, not of their religion.
Right,
then at the time period, the sand was so high, you could actually walk up to the head of the Sphinx. So that was like he did it. Like, just like that, you know what I'm saying? But basically, for us to know, you can find pictures that predate Napoleon. That was 1798. So way before that.
Well, so not pics like drawings, right?
Yeah, drawings. Drawings of the Sphinx with its nose.
You was about to get someone. Hey, there were no pictures back there.
Yeah, drawings of the Sphinx with the nose missing.
Well, because the theory was that it had a broad nose.
Definitely.
And they tried to hide that from the history books, which kind of what we talked about last time. They tried to deny the blackness of Egyptians.
A lot of those claims, they also come up out of the studies that some of our predecessors was doing in the 70s and the 80s, but it really was hunch against hunch. Like, it looked like they knocked off the noses because,
right.
But we furthered the studies and we've gone on to try.
What did you call it last time? Negro intuition? Was that what you called
it? That's what I called it. Yeah, we call it
barbershop
Negro intuition. It's like, we good at that, but sometimes we need a little bit.
It's just like information
more.
Spreads from barbershop to barbershop.
With me and my friends, bro, we made sure that we went behind these claims to see how many of them are actually sourceable in ancient Egyptian philology. So what I mean is, they'll tell you, no, the Egyptologist is going to say, no, actually, they knock off the noses so that the spirit of the deceased can't breathe in the afterlife. But this is just a clever lie orchestrated by Egyptology to cover up what they did. Because I read primary text, meaning I read the original text in its original primary language, and I can challenge any Egyptologist to say it don't say that nowhere. See, you can't tell me what Egyptians did because you thought it. You got to show me the text that said they did that. And there's no text that said, when you want the deceased to not be able to breathe in the afterlife, knock off his nose.
Right.
They just made that up.
Interesting. So it was a Muslim warlord of some kind, general.
That's the best attestation we got, and I bet you somebody could Google it. They'll see.
Well, Napoleon was in Egypt though, right? He basically
was.
Ran through there and didn't he like steal a bunch of shit and take it back to France?
So this is how crazy things are. If I say a cartouche, you think about something in Egypt like where they keep the king's name and that, but that's just a result of Napoleon being there. Cartouche is how you say a bullet cartridge. See, I'm going to rip that. See, this is where my rippers come from. Cartouche is how you say a bullet cartridge in French. So now if I told them I hit them with the cartouche, they be thinking Egypt, but somebody with the real knowledge is going to be like, nah, that's actually really a bullet cartridge. But Napoleon and them thought that the thing on the wall looks so much like a bullet cartridge that to this day, we call it a cartouche. But it's really in ancient Egyptian called a shinu. It is like a circle of life that encircles the king's name, right? It's kind of crazy. So now,
that was like what? Where was that? Like in a temple or something? Or
so in the ancient Egyptian writing system, if you ever want to let somebody know the name that's written as a king, you encircle it with with what's called a shinu.
Okay.
But when Napoleon them seen it, they said it looked like a bullet cartridge.
Got you.
Let's call it a cartouche. And to this day, we still call it a cartouche.
Interesting.
It's crazy.
What's your understanding or theory or a belief on the actual purpose of the pyramids?
That's a good question, and nothing I found too much in my studies would be able to say, I studied now, I can answer that.
But we know it's not just a tomb, right?
Yeah, definitely. And actually, the capstone of the pyramid had a lot of symbolic reference on top, but it would be known as the bin. So anybody could look up bin and see the significance.
Wasn't it also gold? Or the capstone?
Some say it might have been, but we just don't got evidence. So then the whole pyramids was limestone. And they would shine for miles, and then the cap was supposed to be gold. But since it's been so robbed, we just only assume from little residues we see or things like that. But the purpose of the bin, which was the capstone, was simply to a representation of the primordial mound that brought things into existence. And so really, some of us say a lot of new age theories that isn't qualified by what we find in ancient Egyptian texts. Some of us don't have the ability to read what they said, so we got to go off just what white people said in European books. And if Egyptology was set up during Nazi Germany, you know that, right? Like, there was not an Egyptology class before like the 1930s or something when they set it up all in races. So imagine if you funding some new research, you're never going to come back telling these people that, oh, that was all black people. you're going to have to be like, dang, they giving me millions to dig, and look what we find, and we got to come back and say something that matches what they want to find. Well,
because, like, Hitler was into all that shit, right? He was into some, like, occult shit, and he was into...
I wouldn't be the one to be able to verify that, but...
I recall, like, hearing that he was into, like, researching ancient civilizations and technologies.
Well, you know one thing, the occult, they make a lot of huge mistakes. They be looking for some secret spells, and they always looking in black culture for it. Why they ain't looking for them spells in Greece nowhere? They want to go to Africa, find some secret magical thing, and then say, look, I'm gonna keep it a secret, and we'll grow powerful forever. Like this theme that come from cartoons is really their ambition.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, he was also like invading, him and Mussolini and all them was all running through North Africa, I believe.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. And it was other purpose, but this wasn't the initial race for Africa that kicked off in the 1920s, but it still was about who gonna exploit Africa the best, basically, you know.
Well, the pyramids, they're like I'm coming off the top of the head, so bear with me. So I believe it's the Great Pyramid, that the inner chamber, there's shafts, one going, they go in two different directions, and they align with constellations or star charts.
So yeah, there are yes, basically. And you know, even when the pyramids in place seem to be it seems to be like on purpose. It don't seem like to be sitting on that latitude line just as no. But that starts to you start to be like, how you explain that? You know, it's basically like, oh, how could you even know that this position was exactly where it was? And so people this is the gateway into saying stuff like aliens and all of this I'm not against hearing that stuff, but when the people who first try to be like try to attribute the greatness of the most monumental African accomplishments to aliens, it started to seem a little belittling. You know
there's theories that it was like communication devices. It's theories that it was like portals.
Man, we call that pseudo. All that stuff, that's our nickname for when we hear people. And the person who say that, we call him pseudo. I'm just telling you the nickname.
Yeah, there's no actual like evidence.
We be like, it's pseudo because it's some so-called knowledge being disseminated, but it's being disseminated through all these new age people who it ain't even Negro intuition. Now they using some other intuition to say that this is what happened, but it's never based on fact or anything that we can see prescribed to us. You know,
so it's basically still a complete mystery, that the connection to the star charts and the location.
I mean, to be honest, some people have spent so much time that they would like to tell you answers to that. But you ask one Egyptologist, say one thing, you ask another one, he'll say another. I wouldn't say complete mystery because we got a lot of blues clues, but we just ain't got to the end of it and figured out what the true purpose was. Like, and just being honest, you know what I'm saying?
What are your thoughts on? Are there similarities between the creation story of Jesus Christ and the story of Horus?
Now, yes. But see, here, when you said the creation story of Jesus Christ, you mean the creation of Jesus Christ. Because the creation story going to go back to Genesis. You feel me?
Yeah, I mean the origins
of Christ. Yeah. There are definitely some similarities, and you know, I had to argue this with various people, and then I was neutral in the argument, but upon doing my own research, I realized that there's something about a newborn that's going to change the world that takes the place of a particular type of a Messiah in many cultures. You know what I'm saying? It's not just limited to, we could go step out of that and say, no, they got it from this, because this theme just reoccurs. And it's not always a triune theme, but notice they even tried to maintain the triune theme inside of Christianity, but still taking the woman out. But they still wanted it to be three. You see what I mean? So they said,
so the Trinity in Egypt was Isis, Osiris, and Horus.
Exactly.
And in Catholicism, it's the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost.
Yeah, but you see, the woman ain't there no more.
Right.
And so it's something people can study to know that this is actually the case, and I'll give it out right on your show. You can Google Stella Maris, and it'll probably take you to a museum called the William Fitzgerald Museum or something like that. Well, in the Stella, like a star, and Maris, Maris, like dealing with maritime or water. It was the star of the ocean that some neighbors, they would say, okay, they want the star to help them guide them during their maritime feats or whatever. It's only Isis. It's Isis. So in the museum, this is the most evidence we have that the Virgin Mary just was a transformation of Isis. Because in the museum, Stella Maris is Mary. So they have to do some explanation. They have a big, and it even has she has the Hathor horns on her head and everything, holding the baby Horus. But the museum says, wait a minute, this is in this time period of transition. Well, this isn't Isis anymore. Now this is the Virgin Mary. So I'm like, so that's like taking Mr. T and being like, hold on, we doing the new cartoon now. This ain't Mr. T, but it still got the mohawk and everything. And you be like, now we calling him something else. Everybody gonna be like, that character and his place in the story is the same as Mr. T's. I mean, I hate to give some of my analogies sometimes.
That's a pretty funny analogy.
But cats gotta figure it out. But to be fair to Christianity, there are plenty of divine birth themes.
Well, yeah, there's the Immaculate Conception, the three wise men representing stars, the equinox, right? The birth and the solstice and the equinox, the birth, the death, the resurrection. It's like tied to solar patterns.
It seems to be so. It seems to be so, dude. I could do this for days. This is actually what I'll be talking about. And so, there was a festival, but not a authentic Egyptian festival. This is kind of like the Roman periods. A winter solstice festival that 3 days after the festival was supposed to be the birth of, but it wasn't necessarily Horus at the time, because when the Romans took over, they started, we talking about from 30 BC. No, we talking about from about 30 BC to modern times was Romans. See, the Greeks lost it at about 30 BC. Then we start dealing with all of these. I want to remember the Caesars. All of the Caesars. Before that, it was the Ptolemies. When they talk about the Ptolemies, they talking about Alexander and his boys.
Right.
Yeah, but then so it wasn't like the Egypt we be talking about anyway. In these, it was like white Egypt. So
Cleopatra from that to Ptolemy.
Ptolemaic she from dynasty. The Ptolemaic. There you have it. She was like one of the last ones, and because remember she was fighting the Caesars.
Yeah.
They was trying to get her, and this is why I never argue that Cleopatra was a sister, because I study Nubian power and Nubian queens, and when she had beef, she went to Syria. No black Egyptian does that. When they encroach, because that's the butt of Egypt, that's the back door of Egypt. What we see is the Mediterranean. It's been told to us like that's the entrance point, that's the end. The start of Egypt was way deep down, closer to the Sudan. So if you think about it, it's going out of Africa into the rest of the world, right? Which is significant because now that we start thinking about, well, the people up in the top was very so much insignificant to where ancient Egyptians looked at it like they were in two different lands. And the land with the heart of Egypt, where we talk about stuff like Taseti, it was called Tashama'u, right? Tashama'u, it was about a particular type of grain that was down there. The northernmost parts are what they call Lower Egypt, is Tamehu. it means to fill. But if you think about how the Delta fills up after the Nile floods, you could probably think of how they got Tamehu, where the Mediterraneans and all these people come in. Is this the back? It's the butt. It's not the significant regions. And I know I'm starting to build on something a little bit different than we initially started off with, but it's fundamental for people to know that everything we call Egypt was started in the areas that to this day are still jet black.
Yeah.
They're in the Nubian type areas. Because of the tourist attractions like the pyramids, make you think that those areas were more significant, but actually it was all about what was deeper in Africa.
Okay, so but going back to that, I was interested in that festival because, so you said during the Roman times, which is around close to the time of Jesus' actual birth, there was a festival for horse?
So for the young savior, I would say. Like, I don't want to just pinpoint it and say it was for horse like that, but yeah, it was a festival.
And then that's the time that they marked Jesus' birth.
Well, you know, it'll start to turn into a theological show.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind it doing such, but
we can stick to history.
This is what I mean, because then we got to start questioning the validity of some of the claims too, and like, well, I don't want to make nobody. Well, did that really? You know what I'm saying? And then
hey, we're just talking here. We're just talking, ladies and gentlemen.
And so, because and see, I do biblical studies where you can approach these studies without our theological underlying tone, to where we can do literary criticism.
Yeah, we're not trying to like question someo's belief system
and make somebody feel like, oh, well, he said that, so is it real?
Yeah.
That'll be getting the
but there's an interesting connection because isn't there also a Bible passage of Jesus going to Egypt?
Well,
I don't remember the exact.
Well, definitely, he was supposed to hide from King Hiero or whatever. Now you about to get me. All right, we about to get into it. He was supposed to be hiding from a king apparently in Egypt for a particular amount of time. But I don't know.
Is that theological or historical?
That I could never say that was historical.
Okay.
The only reason why I couldn't say that is because the only attestation we got to it is from the Bible.
Okay.
And so, I don't want to encroach upon anybody's beliefs, but we don't traditionally look at the Bible as a book of history.
No.
We look at it as a religious book with some good canons on ways to run your life, you know. But now, so it's a point where there's real history in the Bible. There becomes a point where there's real history in the Bible. But before that, if you ask me, it's just stories. A lot of it is stories people made up that you can't really find no evidence to.
Okay. Well, going back to the horse thing, there was Savior Child stories, 3 wise men, immaculate conceptions, even before horse.
Yeah, but we'll be going out of we're basically limited what we know to Abrahamic traditions. Like, and so that's the Savior story within the Abrahamic tradition. When I say Abrahamic traditions, I'm going to say Islam, Judaism, and Christianity.
The big 3.
Yeah, exactly. That all sprout out of Abraham. But if you go into like Zoroastrianism or all of this other
Isn't there
things,
one in like Hinduism?
Exactly. And then you'll start to see all these themes, or even in some old Sumerian tales, I don't think we can see the exact one, but you can start seeing themes that just are. It's kind of like, it wasn't no TV, and tales on Earth just be recycling. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it seemed like that was just even right now that it is TV, these tales recycle right on TV. Yeah. So what makes us think that if somebody heard that, they wouldn't take it someplace else and try to repeat it and probably mess it up a little bit?
Man, interesting, bro. I love going from hip hop to history to all, the Bay Area to Egypt. I think that's a dope way to kind of cap the episode. And if and when you come back for part 3, I'll prepare some more interesting theories and questions.
Nah,
to
you
discuss.
got a wonderful. You had wonderful, and I didn't even know you was about to gas me like that. I was like, I'm freestyling, so you got me juiced. I said, man, you got me feeling like a kid.
We'll run back to the freestyle.
That shit was fun, man. Appreciate that. Yeah.
Thanks, Casual, man.
Thank you, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. New album, Black Magic.
Yeah.
Shout out to the whole Hiero crew. Shout out to the whole town.
Yeah, I'm Casual Rap Guy on all socials, so tap in Instagram. It's all good.
Follow Casual. If you know Eminem, tell him to tap in.
Tap in. Hey, I'm in your inbox, M. See, that's what y'all don't know. I said I'm gonna put a what's up in M inbox, so if he ever see it, he gonna be like, oh, I missed this one.
Yeah,
I'm in your inbox, M. Get at me. Wow.
There it is, y'all. Peace.
Recognize where you got the game. We got our own style, got our own slang. Northern California is a West Coast thing. This is the history of the Bay. Recognize where you got the game. We got our own style, got our own slang. Northern California is a West Coast thing. This is the history of the Bay.